Hello, I'm Kevin Tran. I'm a first year aerospace engineering major.
And I'm Mei Owens. I'm a senior in mechanical engineering.
Hi, I'm Xiao-Bao Bao. I'm a third-year mechanical engineering major.
And I'm Jorge Garcia. I'm a first-year mechanical engineering major.
And we are representing the assembly prep team, one of the teams from the Space and Satellite Systems Club. And we're here to present the technical development and assembly of a modular Cubesat. Next slide. So here's our poster. You'll be able to see it underneath the attached files. For now, this is just a quick glimpse of the topics that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be going in depth on all these sections in this presentation, starting off with Mei, who's going to be talking about the introduction.
Okay, so for our mission, Real Op 1, we are the first CubeSat team at University of California, Davis, with an expected launch through NASA in spring 2021. Our design is for a 2U CubeSat, similar to the figure on the right, which is a 2-unit miniature-sized satellite used for space research. In addition to design and analysis of the CubeSat, the structures team has also been working on payload integration. The assembly preparation team has also created and documented the integration process for the modular CubeSat with a standardized integration plan. We will now be discussing the assembly and design of Real Op 1 along with our documentation. Next slide, please. So before we started designing for Real Op 1, we researched past and current CubeSat designs. Two common ones found were standoff assemblies and assemblies with one rigid frame and mounting brackets that can be attached in a standard or a stacking configuration. Examples of these are shown on the right. For standoffs, components such as printed circuit boards or PCBs are stacked on top of one another, kind of like Legos, with screws and spacers. The downside to this setup is the accessibility, ease of use, and modularity. For example, say you want to access the middle components for maintenance or just to replace them. It's not as easy as it could be, or it can be somewhat difficult to assemble and disassemble. The design on the bottom right has modular mounting brackets that attach to the frame. And to assemble or disassemble, you would still have to do this one by one, and payload components are not 100% independent of each other. Access and ease of use is still a little difficult, like the standoffs. Our Real Op 1 designs, however, can overcome these limitations, which Kevin will go into more detail. Next slide, please.
So here is the subsection assembly part. All these subassemblies were designed through documentations to make things more simpler for the manufacturers to assemble all these together. First, I'm going to start off by talking about the coil subassembly, which is the top left. It's a relatively simple process in that we just need to have the coil component aligned with its respective holes on its respective mounting bracket, and then screw in the 4 holes with the nuts in them. Secondly, we have the hard disk drive assembly, which is on the top right image. It's going to be a similar process, except that there's going to be a PCB that's going to have to align on the bottom mounting bracket and then screwed in with the nuts. And then we have the hard disk drive that's going to be aligned on top, then screwed in, and then finally the lid that's going to be on top of everything and then screwed in as well with the nuts. Third, we have the battery assembly, which is the bottom right. It's going to be a rather simpler process in that the battery is already going to be on the battery clip. So we just need to align the 4 holes of the battery clip with the 4 holes on the mounting bracket and then screw those in with the nuts on them. Lastly, we have one of the more complex assemblies, which is the manufactured wheel assembly. And we're going to have to first do the PCB on the bottom, screw that in, and then we have the ring and then the motor on top of the ring, and then we have the wheel on top of that, and then finally the lid, and we're going to screw those all in together with the screw M3 by 0.5 screws and the nuts on them. Next we have Xiao, who's going to be talking about the full assembly of the CubeSat.
Thanks, Kevin. Our full development of the Real Op 1 integration procedures emphasized several key areas of concern. Most notably, we wanted to focus on easy accessibility of our payload components fasteners, and fixtures, as well as improve intuition of the overall assembly process. Our integration plan echoes this design philosophy by maximizing our utilization of imagery and action words. By minimizing the amount of instructional text, our assembly procedures are more psychologically effective in conveying important information without confusing assembly technicians with extraneous jargon. Our overall integration plan is as follows. We first plan on joining the PCB stack shelf components with the Y frame faces, and then joining those faces with a vertical Z frame face. We then plan on integrating our deployment switches with the X frame faces. Afterwards, we plan on connecting assemblies for our payload components, our MRW, hard disk drive, and magnetorquer, as well as battery clips, with our standard mounting brackets, and then fastening them to our Y face frames. Then we will connect our wire routes and any additional pin connectors together. Finally, enclosing the entire frame assembly, we have our X frame faces from both sides coming in together, and then finishing assembly procedures for the real-op Cubesat. For the next slide, Jorge will discuss the results of our documentation process. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Xiao. Documentation is meant to reduce errors and to guide any party, whether external or internal, involved in the assembly of the Cubesat. To familiarize any user with the assembly, introductory information is available at the beginning of each of the documents, which includes background information, the document's purpose, and locational and hardware requisites. For the procedure, the team wrote detailed steps regarding the placement of each of the components. Additionally, the team added supplementary images to make the instruction more explicit for any user. The modular assembly is required to be built separately before the final integration. Because of that, we decided to create a document for each subassembly. Once these documents are followed, then the full assembly document will be the last step. So now I'll go back to Xiao on the final remarks.
Overall, we encountered several issues when developing the integration plan for our final full assembly. These issues were primarily focused or related to developing an intuitive sense of the parts assembly orientation in the final configuration. In particular, we created a reference frame for each of the components, as well as a reference dictionary for each individual part and their associated IDs. This allowed for us to seamlessly reference components when designing the integration procedures. Additionally, we were keen on reducing the variety of fastener types in our bill of materials. Standardization of the types of screws and bolts used throughout the Cubesat frame allowed for us to develop a simpler manifest of fasteners, which in turn enable technicians to more quickly determine the type of fasteners that they need when engaging in a particular area of the Cubesat. Our long-term plans entail rapid prototyping of all satellite frame faces, mounting brackets, and stack shelf components. We plan on finalizing the total assembly procedures by 3D printing these components, and then investigating which integration procedures require further iteration. Fast forwarding a few months, once all of the components are fully fabricated, we plan on performing a dry fit test of each manufactured component in order to verify the final integration plan documents that were developed. It is our hope that these documents find use amongst other institutions that also seek to pursue the development and design of their respective Cubesat missions. I now hand it back to Jorge.
Thanks, Xiao. On behalf of all the assembly integration team members, we would like to thank Professor Stephen Robinson for his reiterated support to the real-up mission. We would also like to acknowledge the structure lead, Ricardo Gonzalez, and Christopher and Milena, for their support and leadership during this project. Finally, the rest of the structures team for all of their hard work and dedication. Here are the references. Thank you for your attention. We would be pleased to receive any questions or feedback that you may have. Thank you.